Hey, what's up, everybody? Metta World Peace here. This is the beta version of the Test Your Greatness podcast. Super excited. Every day, be sure to test your skills. This podcast is going to be brought to you by the Panda's Friend and other sponsors that we're in talks with currently. A lot of people have been asking me to do podcasts, but I was waiting. Just waiting. But today, a couple people came to me, online, and were just saying, you're only a defender. How are you going to coach today's modern day game? I mean, I have a little argument or an opinion, comment. So, first 2 years in the NBA was rough. Averaged 12 points freshman, rookie year, then 11.9. Next year was 15 in Chicago. They got traded to Indiana. Had to win 5 games in a row just to get into the playoffs, where I became a starter. Then the next year, my average went up to 18 points. I got Defensive Player of the Year while being second to Jermaine on that team. All-Star. Then the following year, I was averaging 24 before the bro. I was going to get another Defensive Player of the Year, and I was going to be an All-Star again. So then I come back after having the whole year off, missing all those awards. I come back averaging 20. Then I get traded to Sacramento. Sacramento was in 12th place. I say we're going to the playoffs. The media laughed at me. This is all online. You can find it. We go to the playoffs. We go 24-15. Rick Allen made me a go-to guy. I shared the love. Mike Bibby shared the love. Bonzi Wells was incredible. So we go to the playoffs, almost beat the Spurs, take them to game 6. I twist my ankle in the first half. The score was 57-55. I twist my ankle bad. We lose by like 15 or even 20. Then they trade Bonzi Wells and get rid of Rick Allen. I love the owners, the ownership, those are my friends, but then they trade Bonzi Wells and get rid of Rick Allen. We never go to the playoffs again. I didn't even see that coming. But that shows the type of impact I was making. Then we go to Houston. Got them out the first round for the first time since Hakeem Olajuwon was there. We didn't go any further, but we took the Lakers to 7. That year, the Lakers beat Orlando 4-1, and they beat Denver 4-2. Then the next year, I go to the Lakers. I'm in my prime. My average goes from 17 in the regular season, 22 or something like that in the playoffs, to 8. Then everybody say I'm getting old. How I'm getting old at 29? That don't make sense. I'm on the Stairmaster, by the way. This is the Test Your Greatness podcast. We're in beta. We have not officially launched. But you don't get worse in 1 year. And I really love initially I did not like my role as a role player because, it just wasn't what I do. But I accepted it. It was really challenging because I had to be the best role player I can be on a team with Kobe, R.I.P. my brother Kobe, Powell, Fisher, Odom, Sasha. Shannon Brown was playing a little bit before Sasha. Farmer was playing. Luke was still hurt. His back was still hurt. Bynum, Hall of Fame center in my book. Back-to-back champion. Lamar mentioned. Josh, Powell, Adam Morrison, of course. Right, so when you look at all the games that my brother Kobe didn't play, before I left the Lakers, the first time before I left, not when I came back, but before I left, I was averaging 18.9. And the reason I knew that is because I was frustrated because I wasn't getting shot. I was literally in my prime. You're talking about in your prime. That's when you get your last big contract. So look at the game against the Spurs. That shows you how good I was still. And that, as the game online against the Spurs, Kobe didn't play. I had 26, we won. I averaged 18.9 all those games that he didn't play. I was like, damn, I am pretty good. But I forgot because I just decided, hey, I'm a role player. There's no way in the world that I'm ever going to be a number 2 because Pal's there. And then keep in mind, the year before I got there, look at the tape. Game 1, Lakers versus Rockets. Game 2, game 3. Look at the game. Game 7, not so good. But I say that because the ability to be a go-to player and to be a team player, perfect recipe for coaching. Because when you look at some of the times where I would get the ball, you'll see everybody head looking in my direction. You'll see tilts because I can score the ball off one dribble. Look at how I scored on some of these players. Look at the Miami Heat series 2003 or 4. It was still 20 points, one dribble. At the end of my career, my handle got a little bit better, so I was able to put together packages at times. 1-2 dribble bucket, because I was too big and they was too small, with the exception of a few. You had like a Boris Diaw who can't just back him down like a Matt Harpering or a Trenton Hassel. Trenton Hassel was probably the second best defender to me. I mean, I guess like, Tony Allen or Bruce Bowen would have something to say. Because those guys are great defenders. Just my opinion. But, yeah, because I'm a little too big for these guys in my prime. But I say that because the amount of hours that I put in the gym, it paid off. You gotta think about it. I came back 1 year from averaging 18 and 24 and still the best defender in the league before the brawl. That's a lot of work. That's gotta be mentally tough. And scoring off one dribble and 2 dribbles. I wasn't working on my package. I was working on getting buckets. That's way harder to do than dribble, score. So now they talk about today's game. If I could score in 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, back in that era where they were holding, imagine what I can do now. And I can still shoot. I wasn't 45%, but when I was taking volume shots, I was 37, 38 maybe, sometimes in 32s, but not towards the end of my career. I was like 35, sometimes 37. If I'm open, I'm shooting it. Solid passer. So from that perspective, it probably wasn't as flashy because I couldn't jump as high or like run as fast as all these people. I was carrying 260. Sometimes I was 250 when I really had a strict sugar diet, carved off every bit of fat I can. But that was few and far between. 260, 258 was my comfort, but then that became difficult. So 262 was where I peaked at. I did go higher sometimes. Towards the end of my career, I was eating really healthy, so it was 258. So I used that to my advantage. That was like my version of running fast and jumping high. But I say that because, in the era where you can get a little bit more aggressive, I was still thriving. Even against some of the good defenders you see now. I'm not gonna mention the names, but I'm just talking about, in terms of basketball credibility. Not necessarily to cause any havoc, but I'm on a Stairmaster right now. But yeah, some of the best defenders, I put them in the block. Too small. You know? Probably my biggest attribute was strength and IQ. You know? So I say that because, yes, head coaching, it's manifested its destiny. And there's a championship behind that at the end of the day. But you can look at some of the, I'm sure I got some clips where tricked off a few layups, missed some shots, look horrible. But a lot of the clips you'll see, you know, get the ball in the block. And if you know, just being very cerebral, one dribble bucket. And I think that's how I would coach to this day. If you can get a more efficient team, I got championship written all over it. When I retired, there was a couple plays I was looking at. It was Stephen Curry won, because I was getting older, and I'm like, dang, he's so efficient. So I looked at my game. And actually, he made me a better player. I was old. But you look at my last 2 games. I wasn't playing in the last season. I was a mentor. But I was super competitive in practice. I was practicing like I wanted to play. But the way I went at Brandon Ingram one-on-ones after practice, the way I went at Julius one-on-one, drawing back and forth, playing one-on-one with D-Lo, great player. Jordan sometimes. David Nwapa. The way I went at them was I wanted their spot, yeah, because that's the only thing I know, but also I was going at them just to compete and give everything I learned from the 18 years, giving it back. And the only way I can do that is by going at them hard. So, you know, I think I could have had more years, honestly. I didn't have the right relationships to get 20, but I definitely could have got 20. And you know, I played pretty solid in the playoffs. Been to the playoffs the majority of my career, with the exception of my last. I didn't go to the playoffs after my first, I didn't go to the playoffs since 2014. We had to win 5 games in a row. And I was coming off from a meniscus tear. I got back in 5 days. But I was supposed to be out 6 weeks. But I figured I'm never ever going to be on the court with Powell, Steve Nash, and Dwight Howard ever again. With Coach D'Antoni coaching. I was like, I don't care about the knee. That pretty much ended my career. Because after that season, I was supposed to be out 6 weeks. Got back, went to the Knicks. I was draining my knee. I was draining my knee every 3 days. Left the Knicks early. I could still play, but my knee, I didn't let my knee heal. Then I went to China. Still had knee problems, got better. Then I came back to the league because my knee was kind of better, but by that time I was a mentor. I think I could have played 10 minutes a game, honestly. But it was times I wouldn't play, times I played 2 minutes, maybe play 12 minutes. But I was working out. So I want you to look at that. Look at that, my last game at Staples Center. Had 18 in the second half. Now, yeah, I was getting the ball, but I also was knocking down shots. And then my last game of my career, which I don't know why I didn't play more. It was my last game of my career. But I knocked down my first 2 threes. I thought that game, we'll come out with the win. Maybe we're playing against the Warriors, so they're tough, but at least get, 15. Because once again, at least 15 or 20. But I ended up with 6 points. Lost the last game of my career. But it was going into April where a veteran is ready. So you put me on any veteran team, I was really good for a 37-year-old in super shape. You know, Coach Byron Scott practice, I was 36 when I got with Byron Scott. And he had nothing but running. You want to talk about it in shape? I was in every practice. Then Coach Luke Walton, every practice. Wasn't no load management for a vet. We don't work like that. Now, keep in mind, that took my legs from me. Because when you practice, you ain't gonna have no legs. But I sacrificed it, I don't care. You know, I didn't really care about, I need my legs to look good. No, I'm in shape. So I'm gonna be straight, and I got heart. But I'm saying that because I could have also gone, I played 17, really 18 with the brawl. But I played 17. I'm on my Stairmaster. So with that being said, you know, I could have did 18 or 19, maybe 20. I wasn't shape enough, you know. So from that alone, even a 17-year career alone, being a go-to guy, even like in Sacramento, Coach Alderman, great offensive coach. He gave us freedom to, you know, run the defense. And it wasn't like, hey, close out. It was like Corliss Williamson, second myself, other people too. But in terms of people who like defense, yo, this is what we're doing tonight. And Corliss will tell you, I'm super passionate, alpha dog. That's one guy said I wasn't, but I don't want to get into that. Corliss is an alpha dog, but a really great vet, but an alpha dog. So rather than clash, yeah, I got something to say. I'll wait for Corliss to finish. Corliss said, okay, we add this. Oh yeah, all right, cool. So you got a Detroit Piston and a former Pacer running the defense as players. One was playing, one was not. Which we were successful. We went 25-14. And like Kenny Smith on TV said, Ron Artest, second half MVP. People hate when I say that type of stuff, but it's not me. It's other people saying it. Kobe called me the best defender of all time. Reggie said, I'm best defender, one of the best defenders. It's me a little bit, but there's also other people. Even King James, who I admire and look up to tremendously. Even though, you know, when I was the best defender in the league, I took that personal, but you know, he nullified it a lot. He played very well. But the biggest compliment I got from him, when I got traded from Indiana, halftime on TNT, the King said, I'm happy Ron Artest is out the East. I was like, what? I'm happy I'm away from you. Like, what? Cause I be zoned out when I'm in my prime during the season. I'm just zoned out. And then Charles Barkley said, don't ever tell nobody that you happy they not here. They tried to hide that clip, by the way, on my documentary. Powers that be didn't let that clip be shown. But Michael Jordan can have. I love Michael Jordan. I changed my number to 23 for MJ because I love MJ, even though we competed. But you know, he had come fly with me. I see him dunking over Mel Turpin. I'm like, damn. I'm about to put me a defensive documentary together. Not necessarily to go at people, but just to show people like, yo, your boy was the real deal. So we'll do that one day. I'm just showing people like, you know, how, you know, just showing people the offense and defense. That's it. Not necessarily going at anybody's heads. But I say that because overqualified for head coaching, for sure. I get it. You know, I got my own, I had to build my own agency. even though I work with others, because I'll find the opportunity to be a head coach. But it's not like easy, because I don't have like a lot of people that's doing it every day. So I had to build my company to do it. But I say that because head coaching is fun. And a lot of people is like going through the trenches and learning the ins and outs, which is great. They're becoming head coaches, feeding their family. I applaud and I'm so happy for them. Some made it in the NBA play, some didn't. Happy for both personas, definitely. But I bet that if you ask them, are they having fun? I bet they're gonna say yeah. And even the assistant coaches, I bet they're gonna say yes, that they're having fun. It's exciting, so I feel like from just a having fun perspective, not even a getting money perspective, because I'm coaching Cal State LA and I love it. I don't get paid to wake up at 5 a.m., to be at practice at 6 a.m. It ain't no money going in my pocket. I haven't been paid for coaching females basketball over 9 years because I love it. That qualifies you. My goal is to win. Real simple. Head coach, win a title. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but that's what I'm focused on. There's a really sharp focus. So I had to give you a history on the Test Your Greatness podcast. I had to give you the history on the Test Your Greatness podcast. We're in beta, like I said. Whew. You know, so just to give you a little understanding on what's coming in the future. So I want to give a shout out to the pandasfriend.com, sponsor of the Test Your Greatness podcast. It's the only way that we're going to be able to keep a podcast. So make sure you support arttestmanagementgroup.com, an agency for athletes and entrepreneurs to help you grow. arttestuniversity.org, my 501c3. Finally, after 8 years, we're ready to launch a podcast, even though I did the first athlete interview, one of the first, probably not the first, when I interviewed Kobe in 2008. Go check out that interview. And then when I launched my podcast in 2014, metaphorically speaking, go check that out. Why would I take a break? There was a reason. One, I just wanted to retire and chill out. So I was turning down a lot. I don't want to do anything. Second, I wanted to build my agency. So that took a lot of work. And now we're here. Metta World Peace. I'm going to see you soon.